No, yeah. So I was going to look into the Birya there here. Didn't have a chance to look into the Birya there. There's there and we're on page half. Okay, we'll start again. Here on page half. Page half Shalom Tchas Rachmim G'day. So we asked the question. There are two types. We said that two types of Rachmim Pshutim. So the Midas Rachmim are called Rachmim Rabim, Rachmim G'day, Rachmim Pshutim. Same time, it's midas. It's measured. So you have to understand it. We'll start again. Shalom Tchas Rachmim G'day. והנה ידוע, ידגינו תיקון לדיקנה שהם גדולים לסרחמים מבחינת הבירורים, דתויו, דבן, דתויו, מבחינת ביטלה, יש להם מבחינת סער חזר. So that's statement number one. Like I said, now in the next page, it brings in a lot of Kabbalah concepts to explain the concept of Gil Midas Arachman. So statement number one is that the Gil Midas Arachman, the Gil Tikkun Dikna are really the ban. We always think of the Gil Midas Arachman as the Eibishter Rachmanis. These are Rachmanis of us, something that comes milamilo, something that comes from above. But according to the Kabbalah, the Gil Midas Arachman are connected to the Gil Tikkun Dikna. Which is, I mean, not connected. It's expressed in Kabbalah and Zohar as the 13 strands of the beard, which means 13 amshachas that are compared to here. Mele is it's biurim the bandit toil. It's something that's really it's not a full. I mean, we'll understand it better. The contrast to what he's going to bring later, but it starts with this side. To speak about it in a more non-Kabbalah way, the mercy is a result of our avodah. It's a result of the birur atachten. Birurim, the lashon is shabirurim. What's the lashon here? Bitla yesh la'ayfnas ercheizer. The marshal does not exactly fit, but just like Cyrus, we always talk about Cyrus. Cyrus are not the difference in Cyrus here and the rest of the limbs of the body is the rest of the body you feel the pain, you feel the connection. Here are more detached. When you cut it here, you don't feel the pain. So it's something which is in a way something from the outside. So in that way, the Gil Midas Arachmim are compared to the Cyrus Azokan. That's Prinas Erech Heiser. It means it's something which is comes milamata. Then with Prinas Abiurim, the Erech Heiser dafka nasi it's Gil Midas Arachmim. The Gil Midas Arachmim is a result of the Birurim. Like in very simple terms, I would say, Rachman means mercy. Where does the mercy come from? As a result of the request. The one who is being Rachman is pitied. He asks, he begs for mercy. I mean, that's one way to explain it. Now, the mercy is not something that flows directly from above. It's more a result of milamat. That's statement number one. Then he says another lashon. Another expression where we see that it as a result of birurim, because moisei moichin. What does moisei moichin means? What's left, the shiraim of the moichin. The moichin is the flow of the moichin itself. The moisei moichin, it means something which is not the moichin. At which level of moichin are we talking about here? Moichin stima da'arechante. because the Gimel Midas Harachim in general is in the Madrega of Arichanpin, and it's above the spheres, above the Esa spheres of Atzilus, Chochmah, Malchus. It's from Arichanpin, from Kesser. But in Arichanpin Gufa, the Kunit Dikner represent the Moisei Meichin of Arichanpin. Then he brings in another way.
So, and
what?
between Saris and Saris Azokon, it's not the same thing.
Here is not Machalik with Saras Harish and Saras Azokon. For some reason, here is not Machalik. Like so I don't know how to fit the puzzle, but like I said, in other places, Chassidus talks about Saras Bichlal is Moisei Meichin. But Saras Hazokon only happens when the man is mature. So it usually Saras Hazokon represents a deeper level of it represents the Moisim of a higher level of Meichin, higher level of Meichin. So maybe that's why it's Meichis Timo that hunting. The Saras of the Reish is the Meichin Stam, and Saras Hazokon the Meichis Timo. I'm not sure about this.
Like but usually, as you said, the Zakon is more towards Kedusha and the Shalash is Tikne was that Tikunim, and then but the Sarutam as the head usually is related to the like more as you say Musre, it's like extra, it's leftover. It's like less in Kedusha.
Both of them are leftover. But Cyrus in general is called Moisei Meichin. But maybe the difference between Saras Hazok and Saras Harosh because it's a higher level in Meichin. I think that's pshat. Like I said, I didn't have Bir Azer where I was, so I couldn't look it up. I'm still going to look it up. Shkotzov now brings another source for this entire point.
El Yoshar.
What? El Yoshar is Milmayla Lamata. The Eibush was Nimshach himself. El Choiza means the result of our own avoid. So it doesn't, like a puzzle doesn't fit exactly, but maybe, like I said, maybe in the area there things a little better. And it brings another source. He brings first it brings the Maimer Azayah, and then it says what it says in Azayah on that Maimer. In Zayah says, "Ha Moichet the Ir Chachmas Timor Shokit." The Moyach is like it's Chachmas Timor Shokit. It's quiet. It's peaceful. Kachamar Tev Al Dodaya, like good wine and the shmorim, all the sediment. That's the lashon of Zayah. Says the Be'or Azer pshat in that Zayah. Shashmorim the Dodaya, which is the shmorim, the sediment. Ein prinas asayr shenizbaru prinas mechas timor. There the sayr shenizbaru. Again, the word mizbaru here is backward. Usually, when the sayr shenizbaru prinas timor, it's like milmaylo lemato. Mizbaru means it becomes usually mizbaru means you take things good. You get the good out of the bad. Here the word nisbarum is the opposite, because nisbarum means maybe that interesting. Maybe he looks at it a different way. That it's higher. I don't know. Okay, again, it's one of these things I have to look up inside to get the clarity.
How could he say it in a different way? We're talking here about Cyrus. You cannot say that it's Baru, that they were like always Biru. You cannot say it.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I have to understand it. I don't know. So, Shasyrus aim skating, ein of the dinim has to have other aim prince Rachim. So, Chochmas Timor. The mashal and nimshal don't fit perfectly in my mind, at least. The puzzle doesn't fit perfectly. The idea that he's saying here is that this Cyrus, which is the Gimel Dikne, they are pure Rachamim. Then the word Nisbar here is different than yours. And he also said Erchayzer means it's a milmatal mile. I guess I said this thing doesn't fit so well. maybe, like I said, maybe when I look in Bir Hazel, I better understand. Okay, that's point one. That's they made 1 point here.
Who is Biur?
What?
From the middle Rebbe, the Biur Hazel.
Yeah. So okay, so we finished 1 point here. That is the Idgim with the Sarachmim are the Cyrus and his Barbras Machas the Mo and Sarach. That's point one. So the Lashon Shokit means Einam Dinim Archilas Rach. Now point two. וידוע דגבור דעתק מלובש במערכת תימו של מוקר ושרש כל הבירור. What madrega is melubash in meiches timo of arif? Gvura dat. Shmaka v'sharish klabur. Gvura in this content represents also the union of Cyrus, Tzimtzum. So the Gvura da'atik is melubash in meiches timo. Umash b'chochma is beriru. So the fact that it says in Zohar that b'chochma is beriru, that the birurim come to chochma, shezeh p'nes chochma stimo. When it says in Zohar b'chochma is beriru, that all the birurim, the power to be mevared, to elevate the tachten, comes from chochma. It's chochma stimo. Brings tuma amakayim in it. Mishkotza b'sido v'pirosh barachem v'aisa. So in these two places it says that Chacham is very different from Mo. Zerbles gvur da'atim melubash b'meiches Mo. So this madrega of the birurim that come from meiches Mo, which is also the Cyrus of the Diknet, all this is comes from the gvur da'at, which is in Atik Gufa, the Madrig of Gvur, which means the Madrig of judgment, of Tzimt. Avo Golgolta, then there's a Madrig which is called Golgolta, which is higher than Meiches Timo. Just again, punct here, the marshal fits in the Nimshal, just like the skull surrounds the brain. So the Madrig of Golgolta in the document Madrig Samayla is above the Mayach. So again, so the Chacham Meiches Timo is Gvur Golgolta is Chesed dat. Shenikra Chivarte the Golgolta. It's that part on the skull, on the head, which doesn't have hair. It's the white part of the hair. There's no hair over there. The white part on the head. L'maylam is Cyrus. L'maylam is Abiru. So that's one.
It doesn't say why Golgolta is Chesed, no?
Your cousin. Golgolta is above Birurim. Golgolta is the Chiyavesa. It's the bright side, not the dark side, and it comes from Chesedat.
It's coming from the inside of the head, and not Begashmius. No, not.
I don't know to say Begashmius. Okay, that's one thing. So we have Meiches Timo and Golgolta. V'chein, just like we said about Golgolta, that's L'maylam Birurim. V'chein p'nes Pnimis Meiches Timo. Arei ze L'maylam p'nes Birurim. So the Pnimis Meiches Timo in this context is similar to the concept of Golgolta. So again, the Meiches Timo. Okay, let's just right now we understand the puzzles. We don't understand we don't let's tie it to decipher what we do know, what we do understand what he said till now. There's something called moiches timor. This moiches timor is a mocker of birurim. It comes from Gvor the Atik, and it produces cyrus, moiches timor. That's moiches timor. Chochmas timor, moiches timor, the same thing. That's the madrega of chochmas timor, and the cyrus that come out of it, and it comes from Gvor the Atik, and that connected to Avodas HaBirurim. This is the concept of moiches timor stam. Then there's a concept called Golgolta, Pnimi of moiches timor. It's a higher. And that's above. Again, one they're going to dig, they're going to Rachmim. They come, they nimshach from the madreg of moiches timor, chochmas timor, which is that's the source of the moichin is the silence. The madreg of chesedatik and the Golgolta and Pnimis moiches timor, that's above the Gimel Rachmim. That is chesedat. Weiter. The Indian now brings more Kabbalah language to explain. Explain is the right word. To give us more word. To give us more context. Indian Pnimis moiches timor u'pnimis moiches da'atika. Okay, so Pnimis moiches timor. First it says chesedatik, but really it's the amshach of moiches da'atika. V'aynu pchinas avira deradlo. Another name for it is avira deradlo. No, pchinas avira, I'm sorry. After avira is a comma. That's called avira. There is an ear. Later in the next page, it's going to talk more a little bit about the ear. There's a pocket of ear above the brain. That's a mashal of moiches da'atik. That the lashon zohar is the reish, the radlot, reish, the lo yisyad arzen nehira ba'ay avira. It shows a light in that in that packet of ear. So it says in Etzchaim moyach sosum, it's not talking about the moiches timor, the arich, but the moiches da'atika. Because the Torah about build the ani the parsha tzitzis dusha base. So the Torah of Shlach, there's a maimah called Ani Hashem Elokeichem, parsha tzitzis. The two memorial of them. The second dusha base, there's a bill, and that bill, that is where he explains that the moich the moich da'atika, that's the moich sos. Okay, going back.
Is chesed the attic?
What? That's what he just said. He just said earlier. Then he said all of a sudden that
is chesed the attic?
That's what he said. But now he said it's moiches da'atik. He's going to talk in a minute about chesed da'atik and gvur da'atik. But in the meantime, okay.
What is radlo?
Radlo is radlo. That's atik. Avira de radlo. That's moiches da'atik.
So, attic in chesed or in gvura? Radlo.
It's moyach. It's above chesed. It's talking about the way I understood now. It's part of chesed. Doesn't explain it clearly. Let's see further. ורק פרס חיצי נצטרך לצמר שייכים לבירורים, שם עשי השם פרס גימות דיקנה. So in חיצי נהיה chochmas timor, what we said earlier about chochmas timor, there's moitzim moichin, that's on the חיצייnis. But there it's שייכים לבירורים, שם שייכים עשי השם גימות דיקנה. אבל פרס גולגולתה, ובכל שגם פרס moiches timor הנ"ל, so now he's machalek between moiches timor, and he said, וכן, so it sounds like moiches timor, pnimius moiches timor, which is moiches da'atik, it's higher madrig. It's two steps in pnimius. There's Golgolta, pnimius moiches timor, not the same madriga. It's mashmat. Both of them are above chochmas moiches timor the arich. There's pnimius moiches timor and there's Golgolta. I'm sorry, pnimius moiches timor is higher than Golgolta. There's the kol sheket. So it says now the kosher is not the motion ain't a shachin eberim klal. But snake. Okay, so we got a lot of musagim and Kabbalah here, partially correlate and partially separate madrigas. We have chitzenius chachmas tima, which is the chachmas tima of Arich, and that is where the moitze and moichin come from. The gimel tikune dikna, the inyan from Berurim, and there is pnimis, and that comes from Gvora Atik. Then there is the madriga of Golgotha, which is above it, and comes from Chesed Atik. There is even higher madriga called Pnimis Amoichin, which Pnimis Moiches Tima, which is the madriga of Moiched Atika, even higher than. Okay.
איך עניין הבירורים in פנימיוס מויכו סתימו?
No, it's look what he says. Ava is Golgotha, but Golgotha is Pnimis Moiches Tima, Sham Eine Shachin Eberim Klal. That's what he just finished saying.
Why?
Why? I don't even mean the word why. This is just telling us. There's a madregas in the Likud, which is shaykh to birurim, is shaykh to our metzias, bit layesh. It's connected to our Veda. It's connected to our Veda of birurim, bit layesh. And this madregas of Meiches Timor and Golgotha, they're above it. The Eibush is above it. It's above birurim. It's pure expression of the Ein-Sof. There's no birurim. There's no the world is not tefes makom, so there's no birurim is above the concept of birurim. Birurim means there's a metzias of the world, metzias eilumas, metzias spheres, and you have to be mevarer, you have to elevate them. There's a yesh, has to be bottled, but that's in another language is bittul b'metzias. It's above birurim. Ein ed milvad. That's the point. But we're still in the middle of the discussion. So he's going to give us another way to look at it. Now he's going to explain a little more, but according to another view. But in Atik is Atik Yomin. It's Matzil. It's the Eberstein himself. It's above everything. And still, Gvor the Atik Shabbat Yatzimtzum ain't a Mitzvah Pnis Atik. Gvor, we all know Gvor means withholding, tzimtzum, judgment. It's not Atzmi Atik, not the essence of Atik. The way Atik is constrained. Mitzum, tzimtzum. Aber Chesed Atik, Zalsum Atzmi Atik, Moshe Batzmusse. Shub Chinas Tainag Atzmi. Now he jumps into the Nimshal, in the Moshe. We all usually Chassidus Atik and Arich, the Moshe is a Rotzen and Tainug. It's two madregas of Kerchas Makifim. Arich Antins compared to Rotzen, and Atik Yem is compared to Tainug. He says the Atzmi, the Atzma, the Atzmi Atik is compared to Atzmi Tainug. What's Tainug Atzmi? L'mayla is a Tainug Shabarot in the Shtalchus. Because Tainug Posh is a Pshita the Atzmi. So the Primis Atik means represents the madrega of like a similar to the way it is in our own experience. Tainuk Poshut Shalamaylo just Pshitas Datzis. Tainuk Poshut means it's a type of Tainuk to translate as delight. Right? Delight, which is not a result of an outside influence. And it's not combined of any interaction. It's pure. He's just delighting in being himself, so to speak. So that's this pshitas. It's abstract. There's no seal. There's no shape. There's no definition. It's above any definition. It's the purest level of time. The inner knowing, that's a nice thing in the mush. Inner knowing, the whole thing about the rotzen, ain't a now it takes us back to the world of human psychology, sort of, that we see that when a person changes, what is the lashon? In on the roim, choshine poter rotzen. I translated a few times rotzen as interest, which is really it's rotzen, it's will, but it's an interest. The interest the person has in things, based on what does it develop? Does it develop levels of interest? Shine poter rotzen. Other interests change and develop. It's all based on ein rak dat shina aus ein gemisane kach kach. Wie arif na aus keine kach ist was was nach kach. Interest is the level of interest in anything is based on the level of delight and pleasure you're going to derive from that thing. If this object or anything gives you a level of delight, that will make you be interested in it. The minute you don't have delight and it doesn't provide you with the pleasure, you lose interest. Right? It's a muscle. So the same concept is the fear so all this, what we speak about various levels of kind of which affect the rotzen, that is rak. He didn't say anything about chesed gvura. I guess the ultimate, the most obvious difference in rotzen is chesed and gvura, which are the two main flows of energy. It's either flowing or withholding the flow, chesed and gvura. So the shayrash is much as chalkas. The vad is mitzvah chalkas. Mitzvah tainuk ein reifus mitzonis a tainuk mitzonis a rotzen. So all the what we just described, the way it operates, that the rotzen depends on the tainuk, that only relates to the chitzonius a tainuk. That's the type of that we call it tainuk amurkav. Amurkavim the various levels and back and forth, other types of shinuim that are in rotzen based on tainuk, they are all based on the tainuk, which is tainuk amurkav. Murkav means it's a type of tainuk that's a result of a combination, which in turn is connected to chachmas nimar, which he calls tam komas larotzen. There's reasoning here. There's a certain level of reasoning and the definition. Based on that reasoning, you're interested. You have the reasoning. So basically, the tainug is also a type of reasonable, logical relation. So it's called tam komas larotzen, the hidden reasoning. And that is tainug amurkav, which is a combination of back and forth, of give and take. The essence of the tainug, that's a higher level of tainug. Like I said earlier, the tainug means being delightful in being itself, without any back and forth, without any combination of anything. Any understanding. It's just being the essence of being itself. That gives it delight. Is in pashut. In that level, there's no chalkus. There's no division. There's no combination. Kamaima. There's another expression in Zohar that expresses this concept that in the atzmas atik, which is a emotional nimshal, the nimshal of atmas hatainuk. In that madriga, there's no difference between. There's no division. Where do we see it? Because the lashon is less smaller by atika. There's no left. Which is no left? There's no right and left. It's all one flow. Smaller means the left side, which is withholds. Mashenken and atik less smaller by atika, which means there's no in Atzmas Ataynik. Remember, earlier we spoke about Chesed Atik, Gvod Atik, that's already in the expression of the Ataynik. The Atzmas Atik is less small. Mishakasu is another expression in davening. It's not that, it's also possible that it's a pasuk that brings out this point that in the level of Atzmas Ataynik there's no less smaller, there's no withholding, but there's an it's the Gemara says that if a person, I think, if a person is has the death sentence and he sees the king, is forgiven because the king, that marshal brings out the same concept, and the world of Atik there's no division. So that madrega of Atzmius Atik. He didn't call it Atzmius Atik. Called it Atzmius Atik. Tainuk Atzmi. In that madrega he says that's Chesed. That's Rachmim Pshutim. That's pure Rachmim, which is really above the limitation and the measure of the human midas. Okay, he went into a little discussion but this madrega of Chesed Atik is above any division and above definition because it's pshitus. So that is what we called earlier in the Lashon in the Zoya Chivat and the Golgotha. That part of the skull which has no hair. It's light, it's bright, white. Okay, I said earlier. He said, remember, he said the culture of the theme is mashma. The two madregas is Golgotha and Meiches Timor. Both of sounds like Primis Chachmas Timor is higher than Golgotha, but he didn't explain the difference. And here also again he says two things: Chivatish of Golgotha. The Kamoy came from Chachmas Timor. That the hair is higher. Upon him, so we added another layer just to the explanation why these two madregas we spoke about earlier, which he called them a lot of names. There's Moisei Moichin of Chachmas Timor. It comes from Gvor the Atik connected to Avodas Habiur in Bitlayesh. That's one madrega. Then that is connected to Midas Arachim. That he didn't say that, but that's the Emsha. That's connected to a certain limit within the Rachmim. That because the Gimel Tikkun Dikna. That's the Midas Arachim. Then there's madregas of Chesed Atik. That's Gil of Atzmius Atainuk. Atzmius Atik. That's called comes to Chesed Atik. That is the
Atzmius Atainuk.
Atzmius Atainuk. He also called Atzmius Atik. Again, don't forget it. Atik, the Tainuk is a mashal of an Atik. See, he goes back and forth in the mashal and the nimsh.
So Chivarto, the Golgalto, he's calling it Atzmius Atainuk. Then he said Pnimis Chachmas Timor is Tainuk or Atzmi Apostle. That's not the same?
Yes. Again, it's earlier. I said earlier, it's mashma that it's two madregas, one deeper than the other, but he doesn't say the difference. He said, look, earlier he also said Pnimis Golgotha, but Kol Shekem Pnimis Meiches Timor. So it sounds like Pnimis Meiches Timor is a higher madrega than the Golgotha. Also, another difference that earlier he said that Golgotha it's Chesed Atik, and Pnimis Meiches Timor it's Meicha Atik. The Chair is higher than Chesed. So it's mash all these madregas in Kabbalah. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm a daig the lashon atzmas atainug, tainug atzm. Maybe it is. I don't know. Not sure how you can. Not sure if I'm a daig that lashon. But we have two levels. There's the gvor dating chesed dating, which is when you get to midas arachim, there's the midas arachim, there's the arachim shutim is above the midas arachim. I brings in another lashon to another brings in new language to explain it. Ve'inyanu, another way to explain it. Kayadu sheyesh beis p'chinas ayin. The two levels in ayin. Aleph p'chinas ayin shel elam atzma shel atzma v'usa ve'elam. There's the level of ayin, which is essential, the essence of ayin. The ayin means is not. Ayin means negative. Helam, nothingness, concealment. Shazim Musvel, the etzem, the essence of everything is essentially hidden. There are ayin of amshachas atzem. We made that level of ayin, that's the etzem itself, the essence. Vubris ayin amitish, when it's ayin mamash, it's cloud. It's a level of ayin which is above mitzias. K'masha atzem is a built in mitzias nimtza. He brings in the lashon, which is really a lashon from the word chkira. That's what Chassidus uses this expression. That Kabbalah maybe also uses it in Pardes. That the expression in the world of chkira and the built in mitzias nimtza. That when we speak about the Ebershter's being, built in mitzias, it's not a type of being that we can relate to. It's not that our type of being. It's a different type of being. Our being, all the rest of being is something tangible, which is imposed. It's like, in other words, something that wasn't and then there was. It's an act of being. But the Ebershter's being built in mitzias nimtza. It's an essential, it's a higher level of being. Ayin. It's
doesn't mean built in mitzias. Doesn't have like the gashmius concept.
No, that's not the built in mitzias nimtza. I mean, Ruchni is also that Amalach is also not the gashmis. A lot of things are not gashmis. Built in mitzias nimtza means that is mitzias is a different type of being. Not just it's not begashmis. It's not beruchnis either. It's any mitzias we know is something tangible, which means it's a result of an act. It's an active something wasn't and then it was. So something came into being. His being is a different type of being. Built in mitzias nimtza. It's a different type of being because it comes from within himself. That's why it's called built in mitzias nimtza. So that's what's ayin. It's the essence. It's essence of being. V'habeiz, then there's a level. It's interesting. Now he's using, like I said, we're trying to explain the two madregas l'mayla. Earlier he used the language. He's going to come back to it. The Gvodatik, Chesedatik, Maitastimach, now he's using the language of Ayin and Yesh. So we know that the likus is called Ayin, Yesh me'ayin, because the likus is it's built in mitzias nimtza. But then there's a madregan Ayin, a lower madregan Ayin, shenimshach levar l'saknes hayeh. That madregan Ayin, which was drawn down into the mitzias hayesh to fix it. The
Metzias Ha'alef, it's a Yerido Legabi de Atzmus. This is a Yerido, or this is part of the Atzmus. Ayin.
The first ayin. It means Atzmus itself. But look, remember, this language is used sometimes as the yesh, ayin, yesh. Remember, so there's some. I don't know why. For some reason, it chose you to use this language, but in the most standard this language is the in sof. The etzem oil. It's called ayin. I mean, you can say the atzem is above that also. Atzem is not even expressive, but. So we can call the ayins can be also called the oil. The oil itself is so madregas. The oil, the etzem oil, the way he's expressing the full the power of atzmus, and then there's the oil ayin, the lower level of oil, which is the oil. That's the language.
It's already a Metzius, the oil, the highest level.
Okay, so yeah, okay, again, all these words, even the word Metzius can also be understood a few ways. But let's talking the language he uses in this mimer. You know what? Let's say look, we said it's not atzas, because maybe just the fact we can talk about it, the fact that we can relate it, that's already not he himself. Because we talk about it, I'm shocked. To me, it's called I'm shocked. But for the purpose of our discussion, we'll call this is the atzilus raised in himself. Base when it's ancient nimshal aval saknes say there are ka sign. Email because it's our sign. Email is a sign. It's stuck in a state of I. Like it's still the expression of ein novada. We call still something we can. It's relatable. V'zeu based on its chachma. Okay. So these two madrigas find in chachma. Try chachma plus ein uma. On one end, chachma is ein uma. Chachma is koyach ma. Ma means what? Means nothing. Pres Adam it says, ולכן בחוכמה הסבריו שזהו מה שמעבר לבן. So the bill that chachma Ades chachma var ban, it comes into the yesh and it puts the ayin in him. It makes him bottle to the English. Aber was? Am yesh was the base madrigas. So just like we explained in the ayin, we have two levels in the ayin. So the same thing in the chachma is base madrigas. Now Aleph, we start from the lower one first. In the ayin, he spoke with the higher one first. Now in the chachma, he starts from the matter one. Aleph, the lower madriga. That is the law madriga of chachma. What functions the levar l'saken. Its function is to fix and elevate and repair the bandit. That's what he called earlier chitzonis chachmas demot. Shebachachma is beril, but liyoy shebo levar tzich l'zbar tchila ba'atzim. Okay, now he tells in a new concept which needs its own explanation. Because the function of that level of chachma is levar to lower itself into the world of the bandit toy, which means into our reality, into the reality where there is when the elikus is behel, as to lower itself in that place. In order to be able to reach and elevate the nitzutzes, to be mavar the nitzutzes, it has to first the yesh has to be mavar itself. והעין, זה יותר באוויר ממנו, העין הפיש שבו, מציע דבר מה, כן צריך לבוא, יש שבו. In order to be able to elevate the nitzutzes from the lower world, it has to first elevate itself. וזהו עניין הסיירס דגים לתקונתיק, שבכנסת דרדייס. So now he explains the relation. Like earlier, we had a problem. Cyrus means the outgrowth, right? Over here, we're talking about we have to be mevar the yesh. So how is that interconnected? The Cyrus means the shema atan is vapnes bir b'shleimus shayesh nasa ayin. I don't know. I'm not sure that that's represented in the Cyrus. I guess the Cyrus signifies that the way the Moichin reach a higher level of people. I think that's what it means. So in order for the Moichin, because the Moichin's function is to be Mevar, it has to first reach the level, it has to be Mevar itself first. That's explained in the Torah. You have to look at the Torah also again. Aber Nimius Mecha Chachmas Timo, wenn es eine Art nicht eine Bolle war, wenn es eine Mamasch, eine Schafscham in der Beruflau. Was Schenken, Nimius Mecha Timo, it takes us back to the language from before, that's compared to the higher level of Ayin. Eine Bolle war, wenn es eine Mamasch, eine Schafscham in der Beruflau. There's above in the Berurim, Ach, eine Scham in der Yeshas Klau, wenn es eine Mamasch. Okay. All right, I guess we'll revisit a lot of things to learn today. Tomorrow in mitzvah.
Good,
Wow.
Oh, yeah.